when you do it, it's different than thinking about it.
You smell like hand sanitizer.
So I smell clean. Good. I smell like alcohol. Oh, no.
Hey, look, you can do a Mr. Clean commercial now.
No, I was going to say I smell like alcohol. That's a problem.
My bald head, Mr. Clean.
What the hell are we going to talk about?
So, actually, you have to follow my lead. I'm going to take you on a magical journey.
Do we want to tell people what the show is first?
Yes, this is part of the magical journey.
All right. So welcome to the show, everybody. I'm John.
And I'm James.
This is Games with John and James, and I am following James's lead here. He wanted to do an episode where we just talk about whatever, so your guess is as good as mine, folks.
So before we dive in keeping with my hot fire review of the week...
Yeah. Want to time you again?
I feel like it's going to become a tradition.
All right. Hold on. Let me get my
let me know when you're ready.
All right. We're set. And 3, 2, 1, go.
So my review of the week is for a game not many people are going to like, but I loaded back up.
So why bother talking about it?
Just for shits and giggles. Quest 64.
Oh, my God.
So Quest...
I also like loaded because it's a cartridge. But anyway.
Quest 64 was made for the Nintendo 64. It's one of the very few RPGs on that console.
As opposed for Quest 64, where it was made for the PlayStation.
Hey, well, actually, their sequel came out on Game Boy Color.
What?
Yes.
Is it called Quest for Camelot? All right, I'm interrupting your review. Go.
I like how you're full of questions.
Yeah.
So it's pretty straightforward. You're trying to get the Book of Spells, rescue your dad. It's like guilty pleasure good.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward. Combat, use magic. You don't, like, you're a mage. Why would you want to whack people with a stick? That's dumb. They kept it due to time constraints and obviously like system constraints. It's very generic in the cities, the castles and everything, but it feels good. It's simple, straightforward. Kill the bad guys.
So it's like Dragon Quest.
Get to the Book of Spells. Well, yeah, it's a silent protagonist, hardcore. Find where your father is. Save dad.
You're missing the alimony payments.
So I loaded that back up. I want to say play it, but all lowercase.
Very soft, like, play it.
So it's not for the faint of heart. It is not a good game, but it's a rewarding game because it's just cute. I think cute is the apt description and review of this game. There's
also a girl named Shannon in that game who has a really huge feet.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a creep out there you go.
So yeah, so that's the review of the week. It was combat's pretty straightforward. The story, it's literally point A to point B, so don't expect much.
Any noteworthy elements at all? Like any key takeaway? Anything?
So it kind of so the thing I like the most, the more you do your stuff, the stronger you get, the bigger your effect gets. So kind of seeing like, oh, wind, and it's just like a little leaf, into at the end of the game, wind, and it's like a giant typhoon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those few games where you actually get to see growth over time for your effort versus, oh, look, I just made this level. Congrats.
It's like the spell in Dragon Quest 1 where it's called hurt, and then you get hurt more.
Mm-hmm. So
15 seconds.
Lowercase play it. All
right, good job.
So welcome back from the review. I like how we
went far away for that one.
I like how I said that with no musical interlude. So
I'm glad too, because I think that's getting old.
So today's episode, and John is following my lead. We're going to call this Off Topic 26.
What? Why 26?
Because I forgot this as episode 27.
Okay, good to know. First note of business. What episode is this?
So
this is the junk drawer of John and James.
Throughout this podcast, we've talked about literally everything from Hulk Hogan, Attitude Era Wrestling.
Oh God.
We've talked about really bad movies. We've talked about everything, comic book stuff, you name it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a breather from gaming because we did have kind of a serious tone at the end of our last episode. It was really cool to hear him collect, but it's also cool to see where John is in his journey.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to drag John on a journey through the manicness that is my mind.
Yeah, like I said, the junk drawer.
Opens it up. Oh, God, what's in here, James? No! no.
That's going to be your freaking blog title, James's Junk Drawer. And the drawer will have a J in the name anyway for some reason. Junk drawer.
You like what's with my junk?
All right, first topic. What do you got?
So, with this being off topic, I am going to first dive into the world of our childhood as well, but in a different vein.
Okay.
Wrestling.
All right, here we go.
So, you remember the 90s?
Yes,
and,
I do.
Like Hulk Hogan with Mr. Nanny.
I remember Mr. You mean the movie?
Yeah, like remember, like, so Hulk Hogan's super big. He's going into Hollywood. We got what? Mr. Nanny, Suburban Commando.
You got Thunder in Paradise. You got the Three Ninjas Kickback at Magic Mountain.
No Holds Barred.
Oh my God! Over the top two, the one the government doesn't want you to see.
What are you?
Thunder Lips.
Dookie.
Jesus.
Like,
what's that freaking? Okay, go ahead. I just had a brain blast.
So completely wild. You know who the Undertaker is, right?
Yes.
I think it's safe to say
Who doesn't know who the Undertaker is?
he's coming for you. I mean, all of them will.
Yeah.
So Suburban Commando, the silent, like futuristic assassin, is actually the Undertaker. That was the first sighting of the Undertaker ever, and he impressed Hulk Hogan so much. That's how Hulk Hogan convinced Vince McMahon to bring this guy on.
It's weird how, well, it's not weird because wrestling and wrestlers are basically contractors, and that's how their jobs work, which is kind of crappy, but at the same time, like, I get it, I guess, because it's a way you can farm talent that way.
It was a wild ride. So the reason why I said we're going to start here with wrestling, because we're going to like progress through time.
When I was the mini BX in the hospital, because where I was doing my treatment, I sent you that picture of the Macho Man classic Slim Jims, because you showed me the freaking like the compilation of every Slim Jim commercial. We want something more extreme, Macho Man. It's more extreme than this.
Snap into a Slim Jim! Oh, yeah!
We'll add the whip crack sound effect for you.
Are you tired of being in this library? Snap into a Slim Jim!
Yep, sound effect. I'll actually get a whip crack sound effect for that. Let me make a note.
So, the reason why I'm starting with wrestling, you've joked a little. You've made super parodies of, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite childhood pre-attitude wrestler and why?
I think about this pretty often because I'll make the biggest admission right here. I wasn't really allowed to watch wrestling in my house as a kid because my mom thought it was stupid. My dad thought it was kind of stupid too, even though he's the biggest hypocrite because he was I would talk wrestling with him. But
it's a male soap opera. It is not stupid.
It's scripted. No, but what I'm saying is that like because I never really got to watch WrestleManias or watch main events or anything like that. So I am familiar with wrestling and wrestlers. But like if people make like some like marquee moments, like I remember the Attitude Era where a lot of them came out in blackface and that was not okay. But
no, Attitude Era was a wild ride.
Yeah, and then 9/11 happened and people were like, we got to pay attention to what we put on TV. But anyway, my favorite. I'm getting off track with my favorite wrestler
from pre-Attitude Era.
I would say Shawn Michaels,
the Heartbreak Kid.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he has the best wrestling song on the planet. I'm just a sexy boy. That is hilarious. Also, I gotta give props to Jake the Snake because he would do the DDT. Hell yeah!
Like. Jake the Snake, he had his own road to recovery. Like, if you... DDP yoga saved his life. Jake the Snake, he was such a good villain back. Like, so I loved the over-the-top, muscle-out, mega-duded, like, era. Like, the cartoon era of wrestling. It was just fun to watch. Eat your vitamins, kids, and all that shit.
Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and juice up.
I did not do steroids.
You sure about that? It's like do the Ultimate Warrior pump-up routine and tell me that guy's not roided out.
That guy got gassed after he would just run into the ring and do his little psycho entrance, and then he was like gassed for his match.
Yep.
So I asked you, so I have to share. And honestly, so the reason why I bring up wrestling, I think it goes hand in hand for us as gamers.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, as gamers, we kind of dabble in all avenues: movies, comics, wrestling, binging TV from geeky shows, sitcoms, dramedies, you name it.
Sure.
Like, there's a whole gamut. But I think wrestling is the most hand-in-hand thing with gamers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I want to know the evidence. That's all.
It's
Because
just- no,
there's
it's just-
wrestling
it's-
video games.
Well, you're asking for facts. I said I think.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think. Because, like, most gamers that I've met also love wrestling in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see on, like, when I'm not banned from Facebook,
What'd you do?
I commented on a friend's post congratulating him for getting a promotion at work. My friend loves to eat at Bush's Chicken here in Texas. It's a chicken tender place. It's not bad.
Right.
Not good, not bad. It's there. And I said, do you want to go to Bush's to celebrate? So I get Facebook banned. It's like 3 weeks ago that happens. I do the appeal. I'm able to find out what post it was, and I lose the appeal. And it's because I said, do you want to go to Bush's to celebrate? Like, are you correlating Bush with porn? Like, is your robot algorithm that far gone?
Yeah, they're losing billions on the metaverse, and that makes me happy.
It serves them right.
Yeah.
But
Mark Zuckerberg.
so since you told me yours being Shawn Michaels just with his damn song.
Hell yeah.
And
also his propensity to lying. I like that because when he would talk about how he like got beat up by like a gang of Marines at a bar.
He actually did. So that actually happened.
No, his lie about like, he got beat up by a gang, but it was like one or two.
So he picked a fight. So back then before he kind of corrected himself, like he was kind of going down that really shitty attitude path, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, there's a reason Bret Hart like spit at him, like just was like fucking done with him after the screw job.
Mm-hmm.
That 1997 Montreal screw job. I can deep dive into wrestling, but we'll talk about it later.
We'll see him on his other podcast, Wrestling with James. Jimmy's Wrestling Corner.
Jimmy, wrestle, gimme.
That is a terrible acronym.
JJJ.
WWW, Wacky Wrong World.
But no, so like Shawn Michaels like got really cocky and got his ass handed to him by Marines.
Yep.
And that's hilarious to me because then they have to like kind of explain the black eye. They tried to tie it into a storyline with, I think it was Bret Hart at the time. But in reality, he just got his shit kicked in by a random Marine.
Yep. The stories like that, I'm just like, oh, wow.
Yo, like some of those wrestling stories are insane.
Well, because remember when we were at like a training conference thing, and then we watched the highlights of New Jack and ECW.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P. But wow. That man was insane.
I don't like you. I'm cutting you open with a pizza cutter.
Yeah. Yeah, how about that? I just had a knife in my pocket, so I just stabbed a guy. Okay, yeah. Because
I'm New Jack.
Freaking Sandman would, bash fluorescent lights on his face, and that's comparable, I guess.
So, you mentioned yours. We keep, I like how we're actually able to deep dive this. I appreciate that. But my favorite, classic cartoon era
wrestler
was Yokozuna.
All right.
That man was just terrifying. And I remember it was when they were trying to make Lex Luger the next Hulk Hogan, that bodybuilder dude.
Yep.
When Vince McMahon's failed World Bodybuilding Federation thing happened, so he just turned them all into wrestlers.
I mean, with the kind of way that Vince McMahon runs the show, he is a crazy person. So all the stories you hear, there's probably something crazier.
I mean, the best one, Dave Bautista, John Cena. They're the last two entrants into the Royal Rumble. Slip up happens where they both go over the top rope and land simultaneously. They don't know what to do. Refs don't know what to do. So they pick it up oh, I won. Refs are holding up alternate hands. Vince was furious and on live as this pay-per-view was happening, comes storming down, throws his jacket down, Like, if you can...
Where is he? Where's the son of a bitch?
If you can lip read, every profanity known to man is just coming out this man's mouth. Slides into the ring, tries to stand up, blows out both his quads. And then he's sitting down, looking up at them like a pissed off little kid, but he can't walk because his quads are blown out.
I just pictured the interview that he was doing, then he was trying to run down the hallway. He's like, "Give the son of a bitch."
You're fired.
It was me, Austin. It was me all along.
But so like Yokozuna, he was just terrifying, and he was actually Samoan. He was from the Samoan like dynasty of wrestling, but he had this aura, and it was like terrifying. And it was one of the few times we got a true like monster heel, because like Undertaker as a heel, that was cool. King Kong Bundy heel, cool. Macho Man when he went heel with breaking up the mega powers.
The mega powers.
Good God. But Yokozuna felt like he could be the first real villain since when they turned Andre the Giant heel. And that was a terrifying man. Could you imagine pissing that dude off?
I just imagine every minute of his life like the stare down in WrestleMania 3. Like where he's just towering over Hulk Hogan.
Like that dude was ridiculous. But no, so Yokozuna, he was my favorite childhood wrestler. And the reason why I'm giving us some love here on the wrestling topics is because we have literally, in some form or fashion, quoted wrestling, misquoted wrestling on purpose to get a rile out of me.
Yes.
For at least 10 episodes.
Yeah, we have. And it's one of those things too where I saw this. I can't take credit for this, but I think it'd be hilarious if they do another Mortal Kombat movie for, HBO Max or whatever. They get The Miz to play Johnny Cage.
Oh God.
Because I think that role would be perfect. Because he was the Marine first, and that was bad, and so he might as well be a bad action movie star, be Johnny Cage.
Let's just recreate Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh, where the Miz just gets his neck snapped after the first 5 minutes.
So you're actually bringing me into the next topic of unlocking James's drawer. We're going to segue over into just really, really, really bad movies.
Okay. Hit me. What's one of your... Are we talking about bad movies?
No, we started it right away. You, like, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh, yeah, that movie's terrible. Because the first one was good. It was competently made.
The first one, it was good for what it was a product of the times, but it was well done to where we felt, okay, you did Mortal Kombat justice, right?
Yeah, it's like a fantasy movie too. Because it pairs well with Mortal Kombat's propensity to be like martial arts fantasy, because it's got a castle and a sorcerer and a lizard man and all sorts of crazy stuff happening.
I'm not Jax with rubber metal.
And then he rips him off. He's like, I don't need that shit.
Centauro looking like a Muppet.
Oh my God. Or like that entire sequence where like Liu Kang turns into a dragon and like has like dragon sex.
That was the worst CGI ever.
I think Nightwolf was in that movie too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Nightwolf made a cameo.
Yeah, and he was doing like the animalities and stuff.
You need to get one with your animal.
Oh! The guy who was responsible for that was also responsible for Food Fight, so it makes sense.
You will die.
No, you will die. I barely remember that freaking movie.
This will be settled in Mortal Kombat.
I just remember that the freaking Highlander was in it, and he took off his hat, so he's just basically a Highlander.
Hey, speaking of bad movies, but really, really good at the same time, the Highlander series.
The series, wow. Okay.
There was 3 movies.
There was more than 3 and an anime.
So I stopped. Okay, I didn't know there were more than 3. I will stand corrected on that. But I watched Highlander 2, where Sean Connery is Spanish and doesn't make any attempt to be Spanish.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense. But
are you here to kill me? Don't worry, I'm ready for you.
I've got me guacamole. No, the Spanish, my God. What I think is funny about that movie too, that a lot of people, I don't think they overlook it. I don't know, but the soundtrack was done by Queen, which is hilarious to me because they also did the soundtrack for Flash Gordon, correct?
Come flush.
In the universe. Yeah. Which, you think about the greatest hits of Queen and you don't think about those movies.
Hey, Who Wants to Live Forever was a good fucking song. I will die on this hill.
For some reason, my mind went to Would You Know My Name? That song's about a kid falling out a window. When that happened in Flash Gordon?
So it's the Highlander series was so ridiculous. Are you Connor McLeod? And then they go to the future. So you finish it, like there can be only one. Highlander cuts the head off the other dude. He gets all the power, right?
I'm everything. The quickening and all that crap, yeah.
Gets the quickening, goes into the future, re-gets the quickening because apparently someone's still around, and Sean Connery comes back. They get shot to shreds. Oh, these are what bullets are like nowadays?
These are what bullets are like nowadays is a great line.
Like, Sean Connery was hilarious in that.
All right. Yeah, I can attest to that. I remember watching the first one and being like, people think this is good.
Right?
I remember the funniest part of that was where they did the flashback where he was in a duel with the guy after he got drunk and he was like kept getting up after getting stabbed. And the guy was freaking out like, what's happening? But yeah. Oh, God, I know you said bad movies, but because we talked about wrestling beforehand, I'll bring up a movie that I love, and that's They Live.
Oh shit! The Roddy Piper one.
Roddy Piper,
like it bombed initially, like horribly bombed initially, but the more you actually like nowadays, giant cult classic, and if you actually watch it and appreciate it, because it was back when people thought wrestlers were nothing more than like a sideshow comedy act, right?
Yep.
And you watch it, and it was like, holy shit, this was actually well done.
Yeah, and Roddy Piper, that's where, and tying this to video games, if you like Duke Nukem, his line about kicking ass and chewing bubblegum was from that movie. I'm here to chew bubblegum and to kick ass, and I am all out of bubblegum. And he's got a shotgun in a bank with shades on.
The fact that it was basically 3D glasses letting him see aliens.
And I'll wholly admit right now, as someone who considered themselves or tried to be an edgy teen, I would pay for, my freaking energy drinks at the 7-Eleven with, cash, and I would write, "This is your God" on the money.
Jesus.
So yeah, those bills are probably in circulation still somewhere.
No, oh man, So I mean, I'd say the one you quoted isn't bad. It's actually really good. Another one that I'd say like poorly received at the time, but kind of like a weird classic. What was the Sylvester Stallone arm wrestling movie?
Over the Top.
That one was not good back then, but it is actually entertaining now.
There was a movie 3-pack with Over the Top, Tango and Cash, and like Don't Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. So if you want campy Stallone, there you go.
Like the 80s, man, it was such a wild time. I gotta make the next action movie. I gotta beat Arnold. Gotta beat Bruce Willis. Oh wait, Arnold's doing twins? Okay, I gotta do one for mine too.
I gotta do the one where he's a pregnant man. No, where
that's Junior.
That is. Oh my God, you're right. But what was another movie? Oh yeah, the porn that he was in.
Stallone?
Yeah.
His like first famous movie?
Yeah, it was
where he's like with the gorilla thing?
No. It was called like in the actual original movie name was like The Party at Kitty and Studs, and they rebranded it as Italian Stallion when Rocky came out so they could capitalize on the success of Rocky.
Stallone, porn star to taking over Hollywood.
Yeah. Hey, if you got dreams, there's dreams for you too, porn actors.
All right, little dick. I'm going to retire you for a little bit and let the big head do some work.
Was that Stallone just now? Hey, Sly, can I get your autograph?
No, you guys get nothing.
We do put my lock on Skid Row.
Which brings me to the next topic.
Okay.
I like how you're allowing the manicness to happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of along for the ride, just as you are, audience. So
So we've talked about TV shows. Like we did a really cool segment on, old 90s shows.
Yeah.
What was it? Professor Layton or N and the whatever.
You mean Captain N, the Game Master?
I like how I did that on purpose and made you like rage a little.
I heard what you were doing and I was like, oh God, he's going to do it, isn't he?
So.
I didn't know I had a birthday. I'm Mega Man.
Growing up. Oh, God. Fucking smoker Mega Man.
So, all right, what's the topic? 90s shows. What's up?
So, we talked about 90s cartoons.
Uh-huh.
We've talked about a little bit of 2000 cartoons with Sonic X, because that was early 2000s, right?
That was 2002, 2003, yeah.
So, what we haven't talked about was the train wreck in a great and glorious way of Power Rangers and Beetleborgs.
Train wreck? Like they're still making Power Rangers.
They
bro.
are, but don't you remember how like they didn't really have translation for the first season, so they were just kind of running with it?
No, look, okay, now we gotta talk about Power Rangers for real now. So Hayao Saban saw the Super Sentai series in Japan and said, hey, you know what we can do is cut out all the human drama parts of this and just use the stock footage of them fighting big monsters. They'll repurpose that footage and make new stuff, or they'll reshoot with American actors, and they'll call it the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That was the origin of Power Rangers in America, right? And the putties, and it was great. And they actually got people, to their credit, who were like gymnasts and freaking martial artists, and it was kick-ass, right? Also, I'll have you know, because the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was really popular in America, they wanted to do a second season, but because of Super Sentai's, propensity to, I've used that word a lot in these 2 episodes, their tendencies to just move away to a new series after each season, they moved on away from like the Zoo Rangers, which had the animal dinosaur type suits. So what was cool was Saban actually, paid them the money to shoot and film like new stuff with the props of the old Power Rangers cartoons and like sets and stuff for the new stuff in America. So I will give them credit. They had a product and they actually invested in it. That's why in the second season, there's a lot more stuff where like, the Red Ranger puts on Tommy's armor for the Green Ranger stuff, or, just uses actual props from the American shot segments in that footage.
So the reason why I said what I did was because I felt it would spark a fire in you, and you have revealed to the world you're a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan.
I love me some Power Rangers, bro. Yeah, because like if you think about it, there's a lot of tendencies. You mentioned how like wrestling and gaming go hand in hand, or you think they do. I was kind of missing the boat on a lot of things because I was a kid of the late 80s. So the early Nintendo era, stuff like that, I missed the boat on. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and 80s cartoons and Captain N the Game Master. That was actually before my time, more or less.
Can you believe, like, it blows my mind, like the OG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoons, like the super cartoony, like sell the toys one. It lasted for 7+ seasons. It was either set right at 7 or 8.
It was 7 because they saw Batman the Animated Series and made their sky red for the last season. It was stupid. But anyway, as I was saying, that stuff was a little before my time. I still liked it because I played the video games and stuff. But I was big into Power Rangers. I was one of those kids. And like Beetleborgs, like you mentioned, and the Cyber Samurai Patrol or whatever the hell it was called.
That one I didn't watch. So I will wholeheartedly admit I loved me some Power Rangers. And I liked the first 3 seasons because the story continued in a way that made fucking sense. Not with Billy reverting to being a kid and all that nonsense.
And then the grown-up actor, drowning 2 people on a boat.
Jason David Frank, never letting the Power Ranger series go. Still making Power Ranger stuff.
He is? I thought he was an MMA fighter for a while.
He was. There's actually like an 11-minute movie he made for Power Rangers.
What?
Well, I know what we're watching after this.
Oh, God dang it. Okay, yeah,
It's actually well fucking done.
Okay, all right.
But like, so season 1, it was dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
And a mastodon with dinosaurs and a saber-toothed tiger, but sure, we'll allow it.
We'll allow it because it's cool, because it sold toys.
And then it was, I forget what the term for the second season was, but you had the dragons.
Yeah.
No, Ninjas was 3, remember?
Really?
Because it went to the floating dragon, it went to the White Ranger was introduced because Tommy lost his power because he wasn't a true Power Ranger because of the candle that Rita used.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm showing my nerd, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you get on my case about Power Rangers, and now you know more about the Green Ranger than I do.
Look, to be fair, Power Rangers was fire, but it was because so first it was Rita Repulsa, right?
Then Lord Zed.
Then Lord Zed, and then the transition over to Power Rangers Ninja was because they overloaded the morphing grid. Remember when
and then
Skella whatever.
Yeah.
And then Zordon helps them become Ninja Rangers.
And they send him to the planet with the hot chick who lived there, Dulcia. Yeah.
And we got that I am Ivan Ooze.
Yeah, the movie. And they actually got the woman who played Rita in the Japanese show to come over and do Rita in America. And they dubbed over her, which was funny. Because, I mean, of course they had to, but...
Yeah, but, like...
Also, Johnny Bosch, who was the Black Ranger, who was Adam. Hell yeah, man. Representing.
He still actually goes around on the circuits for, like, conventions and stuff.
He does, and he was also in, like, later specials where, like, once a Ranger, always a Ranger. And also a prolific voice actor. Voice of Ichigo Kurosaki, voice of Vash the Stampede. I could list him off.
And then you had Jason David Frank, who never let it go. Because it was like, what, Power Rangers Dino Thunder, he's the old professor, and he's the Black Ranger now.
That's fine. I mean, if you had a gig for life, would you not take it?
I mean, fair, but man, like,
did he even want to spin off into, like, you know, a quote successful acting career? Seems like he just wanted to do martial arts and kick ass and have fun.
Kind of. If you ever watch anything on his social media, the man is very full of himself. But it also seems like he's a good father, so more power to him.
Yeah, say people who are dicks can be good dads.
Dick Dad.
Let's not start a podcast called Dick Dad.
That requires one of us to admit we have children.
I'm not ready to admit that yet.
Well, I mean, we all know you have 4 in Oregon.
4 again. Anyway.
Foreplay again? So brings me to my next topic on this manic-induced rush.
Let's run away from my Foreign comment. Yes.
So, obviously Power Rangers, hand in hand for us with gaming.
Sure.
Wrestling, my weird theory that a lot of wrestling fans are also gamers. Games, we don't like to admit that we play.
Guilty pleasures.
Because it kind of goes against exactly what we've stood for on this podcast. And I'm going to hit this one off immediately.
Right.
So John messaged me. He's like, hey, man, like, what are games like you play but you don't really talk about? Like, the kind of like your guilty pleasure. And immediately, in less than 5 seconds, I'm like, every Madden and NBA 2K.
Yep.
And he literally replied back. He's like, I was not expecting this.
I wasn't, because... who pays for those anymore?
So I love Madden football. So I played football through high school. I love watching football. I'm an avid Chiefs fan. I'm a Mizzou fan for college. I love all things football.
Do you hear the sound of that? Subscribers unsubscribing.
And I know it's like completely polar opposite to me and JRPGs.
I was listening to this dumb jock's video game podcast.
He doesn't even know what Tales of Berseria is.
He does, and he tried to get me to play it.
And you did until you failed.
You want to make me play a JRPG? Make it like Uncharted where I just go to the things.
No, you know what? You have to play one to completion because Dishonored, I went out and tried because you recommended it. I completed Dead Rising. I completed BioShock.
Yeah.
I completed all the BioShocks on the Infinite Collection.
Did I recommend you Dishonored?
You said I should try it.
Were you actually mentioning interest in it?
No, so we were going back and forth. I was like, you should try this, you should try this. And you're like, well, you should try this, you should try this. Over the past 6 months.
Okay.
Infamous.
Infamous is a good one.
I played Infamous.
Really?
Far Cry 6.
You did?
I played Far Cry 6.
You should tell me this.
Well, it was while you were away.
Okay, right, but...
Now, I have played to completion of the games that you have recommended in passing or directly recommended, 5 of them. You have no goddamn excuse. You will play and beat a damn JRPG, my friend.
Well, if you actually...
my colleague.
If you actually recommend me a good one, maybe I will.
I've recommended you nothing but good ones. You have the attention span of a slug.
Slug's got places to be, man.
So... I will speak this one into existence since you set yourself up for this.
All right, hit me. What do you got?
Tales of Arise. or Scarlet Nexus. You get to choose. I am letting you pick. Telekinetic pseudo-anime-esque or Tales game anime-esque. Both on the PS5 for you, because I know we have those.
Well, Scarlet Nexus is also on Game Pass. Free on Game Pass, actually.
Fuck yourself.
All right.
Choices.
I wanted to see if I had a coin, but I don't think I have a coin.
Odds or evens. So, fun fact, even though I don't play Magic the Gathering, I still have an app on my phone where you can do the dice roll to see who goes first.
Okay.
Odds, Tales of Arise. Evens, Scarlet Nexus.
All right, hit me. No whammies.
Scarlet Nexus is the winner.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I will play it to completion. Everyone's favorite word. Everybody's favorite phrase.
So his face.
How long is it? How many hours am I gonna get in here?
Depends. If you want to complete the game, so you pick your protagonist, right?
Okay.
Stories are kind of interwoven. If you want to experience the full game, you have to play both protagonists. But you can beat the game without it. Like, it's just, oh, cool, here's a little bit of missing whatever, right?
Some like marginal lore.
Exactly.
It's not like frickin' Shadow the Hedgehog where you have to play 10 endings.
Or 300.
There's over 300 paths through the game. There's not 300 endings.
Fine.
Let's get it right.
But,
I like how this is where we actually get, like, pissed at each other. This is where we sound super angry.
Let's find out. So, entertain the masses with your guilty pleasure.
My guilty pleasure of video games?
Yeah.
You know, I would love for the bombshell to be I actually like JRPGs a lot, but I can't do it. I like puzzle games. They're not really guilty pleasures, though. Because this goes against my willingness to see guilty pleasures as a bad thing or even guilty at all. Because if you derive pleasure from something, you shouldn't feel guilty about it.
Fine, you are not normal pleasure.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm pretty open to a lot of things. It's just the one things that you play in particular that don't appeal to me. It's that kind of feeling.
Yeah, but it could be like a 2K game. It could be FIFA. It could be Brain Academy.
Big Brain Academy.
By the way, 25 hours. To complete it, if you want to do the side quest stuff and extra content, 35 hours. So not very long.
You know what? I'll give it a shot this coming week. I have some time to kind of reintegrate back into my life after see last episode for details on that. So I'll give it a shot. I'll beat Knuckles Chaotix because I'm playing that right now because that game's freaking awesome.
And then you can play this free on Game Pass.
If Knuckles Chaotix was on Game Pass, it's the only game I'd ever play. Anyway.
Damn. Well, we know who your favorite Sonic character is.
Do you?
If Sonic was free on Game Pass, would that be the only game you ever play? So do you like Sonic more than Knuckles now?
No, you said favorite Sonic character, and I'm basically throwing you like a layup right now of what character that would be.
Oh, Amy Rose.
No.
Oh, Eggman.
I'm surprised you don't know this.
Oh, it's Tails.
For fuck's sake. No. Who's the Sonic character with the biggest titties?
You would find a way to bring Rouge
Metal
into
Sonic.
this.
Anyway.
You would find a way to bring Rouge into this.
Find a way to bring Rouge into any conversation. No, but
have you met your Lord and Savior Rouge today?
Sister Rouge, like that animation on YouTube.
Hey, instead of sister, act as Sister Rouge, and she's charming you one church choir at a time.
She would be voiced by Whoopi Goldberg in the movie. So when Sonic 4 comes out, we didn't do a review of that movie. That'll be an off-topic thing we'll do. We'll review the movie.
Hey, look, we're opening up your brain. So give us a game that would not be your norm.
Resident Evil 8.
Okay, why?
Because I had no interest whatsoever in any survival horror games, in any Resident Evil games at all for the longest time. All the best ones in the series, I've never played them. I've never played 4. I never played 2 or 1, for that matter. I never played... The only other game that I've ever played was The Mercenaries on the 3DS, of all things, and I played Resident Evil 8.
The 3DS? Wow.
Yeah.
That's out there.
That's the only... And I actually still have it on my current 3DS. So
mad love.
So Resident Evil, that's like Resident Evil, any like survival horror games. Like I remember playing Silent Hill 2 back in the day and hating it. So like survival horror games like that. Resident Evil 8 was a lot of freaking fun.
So
Condemned Criminal Origins 2, that was a good one.
Oh, that's fair.
I was really good at killing homeless people in the game.
So, oh god.
Which is a really, really, I think in my high school, when you're a senior in high school, you can leave like, quotes or stuff in like yearbooks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually, that got printed in my book, in like the newspaper, like the student newspaper.
You're really good at killing homeless people?
I wrote that in the thing.
Well,
it had the context of the video game, but I remember literally in the paper it said mad hobo killing skills. And I was like, I really hope people know the context for that.
And if not, they'll leave me alone.
If not, then they need to invite me back to Portland because there's a problem right now.
Oh my god.
But
so
the next thing we're going to talk about, my brain opening up, right?
Well, yes, I have to share one little bit of Madden. Everybody knows me as the JRPG kid. They've always known me as that.
Right.
So if I remember correctly, I was 24, about to be 25. So it's roughly around this time frame. Mm-hmm. My buddy is talking mad shit that he can beat anybody in the current Madden. He's blah, 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 blah. Just talking all this shit. And I'm like, it's whatever. And then finally he's like, all you do is you play those pansy final fuckable games. And I look at him and I was like, I know what you're doing. It's called Final Fantasy. And if you want to play a game of Madden, just ask me. He's like, yeah, let's go. I'll even give you a handicap. I was like, okay. He's like, I'll give you a 2 touchdown lead right away. Here, look, I'll even do it for you so you understand the controls. And I'm just like, okay. So he does. He runs off, gets 2 touchdowns. He's like, all right, now let's play the game. I'm like, okay.
What system was this for?
This was for PlayStation 2.
Okay.
I run the same play every single time on offense.
Uh-huh.
1 possession score, 1 possession score, 1 possession score, 2 possession score, 1 possession score, 1 possession score. Running back, sweep right. And then I move him this way. Because back then, the AI was mega dumb. So all of the AI sweeps right. So if you're a smart player, you're like, oh, look, I'm going left. And I've got blockers here to the left. I ended up beating him 144 to 50 something. He wanted to play 15-minute quarters.
Wow.
So we get done. And he's like, that's just beginner, man. You're breaking the game. That's not how you play it.
No. So he's gatekeeping.
So I was like, no, that is how you play it. You challenged me. I literally ran sweep. I ran halfback, off right, little sweep. And I went left because I understand that the computer in this game they're doing what you should do, and I went against the grain, like a smart football coach would do. He would set his play up, he would have it primed out to where they think you're right, and you go left. So I outcoached you, I outplayed you, it's called Final Fantasy, and you can have a good fucking day. And it was controller drop, essentially.
So you have a tendency to do this when you actually get impassioned about something, but you went serial killer mode on them.
Essentially, yes. Who calls Final Fantasy final fuckable?
Someone who sees a picture of Tifa.
Okay, fair, but still.
How'd you like those pictures I sent you the other day?
No.
With Cloud in the cutoff jeans. Dude, putting Square games on PC has been the best.
Stop him now.
No. Have you seen the costumes? There's a picture of Barrett dressed up like Thanos. And it's the best ever.
Yeah, we're gonna open up John's drawer.
Yeah, get out my drawers.
So a while back, John and I, it was 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
So
it was a few weeks after the debut of the movie, and it got spoiled for me, and I got pissed. But whatever.
We go and see Sonic 2.
Yes. Hollywood smash sensation Sonic the Hedgehog.
I am going to only give one spoiler here. Literally, opening act, we get a Ugandan Knuckles joke. And I pointed it out to John, and I was like, John, because we're in the movie theater, and
I'm like,
he looks over, and I was like, "You got it, Knuckles. They did it." He's like, "No!" He almost like he does it like whispering, so it's not going to be loud. But the sheer look of surprise that they pulled it over on him was not lost.
Spit on him, brothers. Do you know their way, Mr. Honey Addicted Man? And then they had, Idris Elba as Knuckles, so he kind of had that voice anyway.
He did such a good job.
He came to play, like he was batting 1,000 right there. And friggin' do we want to actually break it down like story beat wise, or do we just want to talk about how we felt about it? Because I loved it. I loved most of it.
Obviously, there were bits and pieces in there designed for different target demographics to kind of keep you vested throughout the movie, right? Like,
there's fart jokes in it.
I mean, yeah, sure, whatever. But as an overall, you had homage paid to the Sonic games. Mm-hmm. You had conflict resolution. You even get to experience what you don't expect happening in this movie. And not just one occasion, 2 separate occasions. The voice acting, on point. The story, on point. For what it was. Look, so we have to approach it for what it was.
I know, because I told you that I would turn my brain off and enjoy the movie, but I still had my qualms with the movie when I was done.
So I will heap the praises, and I will let you unheap praises.
I will dig through. I'll break out my knuckles and dig deeper.
Ayo. So perfect voice casting. Mm-hmm. Like I can't think of anybody better than Idris Elba as Knuckles. Jim Carrey.
Ryan Drummond.
Nope.
No.
Jim Carrey still getting to be Robotnik and embracing it even more this movie.
Yeah, he went crazy.
It was awesome. They actually, in my opinion, they did a pretty good job of including actual Sonic lore versus making it just seem like, oh, look, people plus creature.
Alien from another planet who comes to Earth. Yeah. It was every, like...
They prevented it from being Howard the Duck.
Yeah. They did. They did. I really kind of wish that there were some things that would have kind of been Howard the Ducky, but...
And then they managed to surprise you a third time.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed it. Like, John and I were actually talking about it. We're like, hey, let's go watch this again. I would do that. I'm not the biggest Sonic fan, but the Sonic movies, especially with what happened with the first Sonic, I know it sucks that a studio went under in this whole process, and I feel terrible for that. However, for the parent company to give you a trailer, Gangster's Paradise pops up, and you see a kid. You see basically what looks like a CGI kid in a Sonic costume, not looking good. It's like anamorphic Sonic gone wrong.
Yeah.
And the entire Sonic-verse, which is probably the most rabid fandom you will ever get, clamoring and saying, fuck you, this is wrong, we will not see your movie. And you get the parent company to acknowledge it and make it right. And hold back on releasing the original one. Like, I don't care if there ends up being a Sonic 74. I will continue to watch these movies because that is a rare occurrence in Hollywood, in life, in video gaming, anywhere, for big fucking company that gives 0 fucks about my $5 to $10 to go see this movie.
Stop swearing.
No. That company cares nothing about your 5 to 10, if it's a matinee or not. They don't care about your money. For them to lose initial money, because by pumping the brakes, they're losing a lot of money.
Yeah, they are, and I don't want us to stick on the first movie too much.
Oh no, I'm almost done. Like, it's lit. Like, that alone makes this whole thing worth it. Also, some good comedy bits that were there for the adults. I'll admit I enjoyed it. I know John did not.
I can talk about it when you're done with your diatribe here.
Oh, hey, look, I'm actually Sonic tribing.
Yeah, how about that? The shoe is on the other hand now.
The glove is on the
other dick.
So, John, what were your thoughts?
Okay, so what I will say is that, that the entire, response to the initial Sonic design. Paramount was fine with Sonic fans being pissed off, but when they saw the general population being like, this is disgusting, that's when they decided to be like, okay, we need to change this. So they did. Thank God. Now, okay, the sequel. The sequel is better in a lot of ways, but it makes the bad things that I don't like about it stick out a bit more, and that's what kind of sucks about it. So I loved this movie because, much like the first movie, if I saw it when I was like 5 or 6, it would be my favorite thing of all time. Like, that is just the mood I went into with this movie. My inner child was screaming like, hell yeah, there's a dance-off in a Russian bar, which, again, they did like the kind of bar fight scene again, only it was a dance-off this time, so retreading old ground, whatever.
I said I gave one spoiler. Look at you.
That's not a spoiler, that's something that happens in the movie. A spoiler is like something that they try to like keep at the end. But anyway, the way that it was structured and the way it was paced made me a bit upset. Like, you could have cut out a half hour in that movie, it would have been just fine. There were things in there that, like, I won't, okay, fine. For the sake of people who haven't seen it yet, I'll say it this way. There's a scene where the plot twist happens and it's all going to crap. Like, Sonic and friends are incapacitated in some way and they have to escape, right? I'll say it as vague as possible. They cut away for like 20 minutes to do some B-side with other B-plot era characters. And that goes on for way too long when it's at the most important part of the movie, where your hero's like, oh no, they're beaten temporarily, we need to help them, and then it just cuts away for like a half hour to do something completely different. That threw me for a loop.
Okay, pacing was a little weird, but who cares? It was still enjoyable.
It's still funny. I'm just saying, if I would want a director's cut of that movie, that wouldn't be in it. You know what I mean?
So you just cut out the people and leave the Sonic.
Right, but the movie...
You said right?
But the movie already did that. They had... Because the freaking... You've seen it, it's in the trailer, so it's not spoilers. They're going to a wedding in Hawaii. That's where all the human characters are, so it basically lets the animals and Robotnik do whatever they want, right? Mm-hmm. So it basically gives those human characters not a whole lot to do. So they need to contrive ways to make them involved in the story. That's what they did. And that kind of sucks, because you can have them involved because there actually is an emotional arc for Sonic and the Wachowskis and these people in this movie that leads up to the end of the movie, right? But the sidelining of everything just for those 20 minutes just didn't need to happen. It just didn't. You could have done the same thing, but just cut out some of it to make it so it's like, oh, these gadgets are weird. Or it would give Tails something to do. Or like have Sonic get captured and Tails escapes and has to work together with them instead. There's better ways to do it. It's the same way where, like, in the first movie, in the actual text of the movie, Robotnik is like a top secret Black Ops killer who makes these robots. And then he sees Sonic for the first time ever because this is something he's never seen before because it's a literal alien, and he's fascinated by it. And so they could have written it into the actual text of the movie that he's a really bad person, a really dangerous, smart person who's also crazy and also wants to experiment on animals and is interested in Sonic because he is, again, something he's never seen before. You could have written that into the actual text of the movie because it's already there, you just didn't do it. Anyway.
And you said I was going on a diatribe.
So what I'm saying is that this movie was a fun time, and you can tell it was made for children, and that's fine, because when Act 3 came around, we actually got to see the big robot fight, which again is in the trailers, it's not a spoiler. When you actually get to that point where they're all together working on stuff and fighting Robotnik and flying around and explosions are happening and stuff, that's awesome. And and that actually gave me a surprise I didn't expect, because of just, if you know Sonic games at all, and you know that the Emerald's there, you know what's going to happen. So when that happened, I actually was like jaw open, like, oh my god, they actually did it, and it was cool. So, yeah. If you gave me an entire movie that was on the level of Act 3 of this movie, it would have been perfect.
So I'm going to quote a new term here. Watch it.
Watch it. Hit play on your DVD player. Play it.
Watch it.
Plotch it.
I mean, that's kind of what you do with porn.
Splotch it.
So,
should I go on? Do I have any more to say?
No, the movie was awesome for what it was, and I like that it appealed to, obviously it appealed to kids, but it also, Sonic fans of old, there were so many moments in there where it was like awesome. And the one thing I'm going to say and hammer out, when you do watch it, obviously, you know how movies go. I will say the end credits, seeing the video, like the graphic creation of the movie in old Sonic animation.
Oh, the credit sequence? Yeah.
Yes.
That was awesome. It was way better than the first one, so.
It was a good watch.
Yes, it was. And one last thing I'll say, which is my one last pet peeve about both movies, actually.
Not enough Sonic?
Not enough Sonic music. Because Sonic, as a franchise, is known for having really great music.
Oh, yeah. So we get out of the theater. Like, we're like, yo, 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 yo.
Yeah, we were having fun.
We sounded like pirates. Like, yo, ho, yo, ho.
We were going to go watch the Sea of Thieves movie.
And we get in the car. I was like, I have a whim. I'm like, oh, hey, let's see the soundtrack. Oh, hey, the soundtrack is on Spotify. And John was like, what? So we hit play.
And it was all like 90s hip hop.
And current hip hop. They had a few Sonic songs.
Right, but
not
weren't
enough.
In the movie.
Not enough.
So again, this is another thing that this is my actual film critic brain turning on.
Mm-hmm.
But when Tom's ringtone goes off and it's Green Hill Zone, what's that supposed to tell us other than, haha, you're watching a Sonic the Hedgehog movie? You know what I mean? Like, what does that ringtone mean in that world? In the same way, like, I get it because the guy opens a coffee shop called the Mean Bean, and that's a reference for the people watching it. That's all it is. I don't really go in too much for references. I'd rather have the things that were part of the franchise be a part of the movie. Again, what is the text versus the wink? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe we'll get it in Sonic 3.
I hope so. I really do.
Hey, if not, if you had a full movie of Act 3 into Sonic 3, you'd still be okay with it.
Yeah, because and this is how I'll relate to this, because the Star Trek movie and Star Trek Into Darkness, those movies are terrible. They're not good. They basically crap on everything that is Star Trek, and it sucks. Star Trek Beyond actually was the first of those three movies to get it correct with Star Trek. So, my hope is that in the marginal improvements that these movies have made in a reviewer standpoint, in the film critic standpoint, I think there is hope. Because if they actually decide to go and deep dive into what they're saying they're going to deep dive into for 3, yeah, I want to see it done, and I want to see it done right.
So, watch it. Play it if you own it.
Play the official Sonic 2 video game.
Plotch it if you want to do both.
Splotch it if you want to jerk off to it.
Oh, man. So
I know you furries out there, you do.
Oh, god damn it. So
after you're done watching Zootopia for the dozenth time.
No, now it's the bad guys.
Oh, that fox is hot. You just hang your head. Oh, dude.
So this is so we're gonna close the drawers.
We're good, because after what I just said, yes.
This has been a fun episode. We did we're silly quite a bit. Like we bounce off of each other, but we have never dove this far into the madness.
Yep.
But we wanted to have fun.
Speaking of madness, go see Doctor Strange 2.
Thanks.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, my body got took over for a second.
You got was it the other John from the multiverse saying it into being?
That's actually funny because that's a point in the movie. So, yeah, there you go. That just happened.
So
I was going to say the freaking robots that are in control of us from watching Marvel movies all this time are taking over my mind.
I mean, you are Marvel over DC. Superman beats them all.
Superman is the best, and they still need to make a good Superman movie.
They did.
Yeah, in the 70s.
Are you talking live action or are we talking animated? Because if we're including the totality of animated and live action,
we know the animated movies are good.
Are perfection.
They're not perfection, they're good.
The Death of Superman, the original, into the Death of Superman, the new one, was beautiful.
That will be
Superman, Gods and Monsters, where Superman, it's like an alternate timeline. He lands in Mexico. Zod kills Kal-El's father and imparts his DNA into the baby ship. So Zod's DNA is in Superman, and you basically get an evil Superman. Batman's a vampire, and Wonder Woman is the Wonder Woman of that universe is Highfather's daughter, who left all of that when Highfather massacred Darkseid. Like, amazing. Superman versus the Elite.
Yes.
Where you get to see Superman just finally snap.
Right, but that... anyway.
No. Those are all amazing.
They're all fun, but...
All-Star Superman, where he dies.
He becomes the sun.
Yeah, Superman...
He's incubating.
Superman Prime gets born. Yep, 10,000, 15,000, whatever many years of incubation. Let's see.
All-Star Superman has the best version of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Before, when he was the crazy supervillain in the Gold Era.
Like, seeing, like, the depth of care for the story and seeing Lex Luthor realize everything about Superman and how wrong he was, that moment was impeccable.
That was dope. At the same time, it's, but what I'm trying to get at, those movies are good, because they're based off of good, well-written comic books, right? Now, with a live-action Superman, what you should get is tangibility. That's what I want.
Man of Steel.
Never say that in front of me again.
Man of Steel.
Stop.
Man of Steel.
I will kill you.
I'm of Steel. My member is Steel.
Just learn Chinese so you can call it an Iron Rooster. Anyway.
Man of Steel.
I hate you. No. Enough about this. We need to close the drawer. We need to close the drawer before I go insane.
It's kind of open.
Yeah.
I will be fair. When Marvel took themselves took the animated version seriously, because their TV shows are all right. Like the Hulk TV show where...
I mean, with the Bill Bixby.
And like the wannabe Blue Hulk. Oh man, Christopher Green voiced that, and it was great.
Wait, are we talking about cartoons?
Yeah.
This was like 95, right? When there was like a Fantastic Four cartoon show? When was this?
No, this was a new one. It was basically all about the Hulk. You had Hulk, Red Hulk on a team. This kid is a fanboy of the Hulk who eventually just he gets mutated into this blue weirdo, and then they find they fight someone else. So it's basically 4 Hulks doing the Lord's work, essentially.
So it's Street Sharks with men.
And they would always cut over to the Hulk, and he'd be like, I mean well. I don't really want to get angry, but sometimes I just have to. It was a great premise. Like some of their cartoon shows, on point. They did get it right with 2 movies that could rival DC animated movies.
Are these the Hulk versus ones?
Hulk versus 3, actually. Hulk versus Thor, Warworld Hulk, and then Hulk versus Wolverine. If you look at Hulk versus Thor, that is, I feel, the epitome of Marvel animated movie magic.
Okay.
Especially separating Bruce Banner's soul from the Hulk. To where Loki could try and control the Hulk, and then the Hulk just becomes this mindless rage beast that even Hela doesn't want in her domain.
Neat.
Like, awesome movie. If you haven't watched it, that's a watch it recommendation for you. I think you would enjoy it.
That's a splotch it if you like to,
It's not Superman.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, so these...
I'm at the point where I'm saying shut the fuck up to a friend, so I think we need to close the drawer.
So the drawers are closed, and thank you for following us through these twists and turns from wrestling to movies to guilty pleasure games.
To guilty pleasure movies.
So this one's actually been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it too, and if you didn't enjoy it, Super don't need to let us know.
So you don't need to let us know on Facebook and Instagram at Games with John and James,
or in a freaking review on Apple Podcasts,
or Twitter, or YouTube.
Or...
You definitely don't need to like and subscribe.
I think we got him.
So this has been fun. I'm James,
and I'm John,
and this has been Games with John and James, a manic peek into the drawers of chaos.
Yeah. All right, before we go even more insane, we'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.
So have a good one. Speaking into existence, John actually has the review for next week, and it's going to be a doozy.
I have to review Scarlet Nexus?
No, I didn't say it had to be that.
Okay, so I have to review a game.
That's the premise of a review?
We'll talk about it later. All right, we have to do some talking off camera.
Bye.
Bye.
I make them hot. I make them shiver, their knees get weak. Whenever I'm around, they see me walk, they hear me talk. I make them feel like they're on cloud nine. Just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy.